So what would be interesting for me, and I think effective for the group, and the group's intention, would be to actually host and facilitate and originate and televise that awakening process. It would be the fucking coolest thing ever. A guy that's this, surrounded by, forget the stories, just tap into the consciousness of the beings here. And as you observe the awakening of Dionysus, you're part of the process. Tap into the flow, and awaken with him. Because it's a celebration of the divine. It's not the profane worshiping the divine, covertly hostile to it, like we do now, in denial of anything worthy of the name divine as anything to do with our essence. Certainly, maybe sometime in the future, but not now, surely. Right? So, if the divine is true for one, the divine's true for all. It can't be any other way. Everything else is a story. It's a pretense. It's an identity that is temporary, that passes away. Because when the divine is real, then it's a shared reality. And so, and since we recognize that, what we're doing is choosing individually and as a group to open into that as our personal experience. The freedom that we find in the transformational experience, where we allow ourselves to be destroyed and recreated in each moment and have it get better and better and better for us. What we are, we let it be destroyed, and we feel it, we experience it. We know it, we understand it, and we're the cause of that destruction because of the choice that we made to open further and awaken in a more profound way, so that we're a better reflection of our eternal nature while we're here. We're here to awaken within the creation as the creator, not to struggle to incrementally improve as in an identity that was falsely created for us as a way for you to move through life until you decide it's time to wake up. And when you decide it's time to wake up, if you're deciding that now, then you have at least one person that's way in favor of that. Because the more and more you awaken, the easier and easier it is for me to be free here, to move free here, because others are free here. When you're awakened, you're free. And if you're free and we have some interaction, that's a virus that there's no cure for. Your awakening makes mine a foregone conclusion, because our every interaction will inspire me to awaken more, to open more, because the more time I spend with you, the more I see the truth of myself. So as we open and awaken, we found a group that's been choosing that for themselves already for a long time. Then we're at the beginning of beginning to reveal what's possible, not just to ourselves, but to reality. And reality, for the first time, knows that it's loved completely as it is. No changes necessary. This reality is perfect as it is right now. Because when you love it divinely, ah, yes, you know that consciousness was contorted into all of these shapes and personalities, right? But that was for your momentary appreciation that it could be done like this. And as soon as you appreciate it, love it, say, oh my God, how did you do this? Perfect. Perfect creation of this, you know? As soon as reality receives that acknowledgement that it accomplished its purpose, its perfection, it's being exactly the way that it is, then that was the purpose and it's been accomplished and fulfilled. Then what do you have? You have transformation willing, you have reality willing to transform to a higher level of existence, an opening into a truth that, if not miraculous, kind of borders on magical, synchronistic events, one after another. A pathway of freedom being an easy one, a conscious one, an open one, a fun one. One where each step we take is celebrated by everybody else. It's going, yeah, yeah, another one's free. Fuck yeah. And 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 then we begin to feel reality to shift around us, where it becomes normal for groups of people to share a divine communion with each other. And anything that is at a lower consciousness of that comes into contact with it, oh my God, there's a awe because something's going on that you thought was never real, or at least was never possible for you to experience. And yet, here it is, real and in real time. So, who should that be shared with? Who do you know that would say, are you fucking kidding me? That's possible for me. I can have that as an experience, if not right now, in a very quick, transformative way into a reality that I couldn't even dream of, that it's so magnificent. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's only limited by your willingness to stay open to it and let it reorient you to what's real and true and eternal about you. Self realization, self knowledge, the truth that sets you free, the truth of your own divine essence awakened within the identity and the persona of the body and perceiving as God in his temple, awakened and whole, complete, universally free, and yet individuated as you and me. Now, I know that's sacrilegious and it's something that's never to be, but if it's the truth of you and the truth of me, then no one else can see that. Then at least you and I should see clearly what our choice should be. Choice is yes for you, and yes for me, no matter how embarrassing or inappropriate it is to say, I'm willing to take that on. I'm willing to have that feeling. I'm willing for this body to experience that level of consciousness. Now, if it's not me and it's not true and it's not real, then that level of consciousness, openly embraced, will destroy this. And good riddance, right? So you dive into the void, the unknown, the crucible of the fire that burns off everything less than godly divine freedom. And then is there anything left of you? Yeah, the body's still alive. and is open to experience not just conscious transformation, but physical transformation, optimization, the best that you can be. Nothing withheld. Everything's energy, everything's frequency, everything's vibration, right? So let's let it all go then. Let it all be free. Let it all come to its own level. And let, as it comes to its own level, allow that level to change for them. Don't be any kind of damnation for anyone else. They choose or don't choose. And it doesn't matter to you because they have their free will. But so do you. And if you can choose the ultimate truth, see it, know it, experience it as your own, then it is the real you. And if you're here to be the real you, then let's get on with it. Yeah, let everything else go right now. Yeah. There's no need to hold yourself back or restrict yourself in any way, because the more and more that you awaken, the more and more that grace enfolds you, molds you, moves through you, and moves as you, the more that you know it as your own, the more it's real as your truth. And that's how the embodiment shifts with the consciousness that moves through it. And so when you choose to embody the truth eternally and wholly of you, the wholeness of what you are, then the body has to move into a harmonic resonance with that, and it will, happily. So you're not forcing anyone or anything, not even your own body. You're just choosing that whatever it is that you are, you know one thing, that you're aware. And you're aware from your point of view and as you exist. And so you know that you're real. You know that the reality is as you perceive it, or at least it appears to be as you perceive it. But where is it you're choosing to own yourself at here? How over-identified with you are you of the body? How much identified are you as your eternal nature? As the wholeness, as the fullness of the perfection of the awakened, divinely realized self? Open up more there. It's got to be 50-50. The yin and the yang, the black and the white, the good and the evil. It's 50-50. You got your foot in both camps. You're God and the devil. You know, good and evil, right and wrong, black and white. Now, what happens to the profane when it knows that the divine is half of it? What happens to the divine when it knows that the profane is half of it? It's the divine marriage, man. Heaven and hell reconciled. And everything that was limited and hellish is redeemed, is restored as to its own eternal nature. Saved from the pretense, the pretendedness of limitation, of polarity. Okay. Okay, so that's the talk about it. You know, and if nothing else, you have to say, well, he wasn't reading a teleprompter. He wasn't, hadn't, this wasn't something he memorized. This was being connected to what's real and what's possible at the same time, and allowing what's real to be transformed into what's possible by knowing that we're all aspects of it. We're not fighting anyone because we're on all sides. We're on everyone's side. We bless everyone to choose the best for themselves. We bless everybody to be healthy and wealthy and wise and free, and conscious and divine, and in a state of celebration of their joy of being alive. And that's where this movement's going to. It's a celebration of being alive, being free, being conscious, and being in love with ourselves, everyone else, and this entire reality. When you wake up fully, that's you. The lover of life, the lover of consciousness, the celebration of joyful embodiment is the birthright of every divine being here. Everyone. So we do what we have to do to make a living, and we're operating the way that we operate there. But isn't it time to shift from that into something much easier, much better, more effective, more real, more instantaneous in its effect and its influence? Shouldn't your influence have an instantaneous effect on everything you want it to affect? But you want it from such a way that the universe supports that desire. So that's a new way of being here. Wanting something in such a pure way that the universe says, fuck yeah, thanks for asking, here it is. So what is a pure way? It's one where we let go of our consciousness where it is right now and say goodbye to our being so identified with the body. It's our body, all right, but I sure haven't been treating mine the way that I should, I haven't been letting it do what it wants to do in order to be healthy, in order to, express itself as beautifully as it can here. So I've been condemning my experience here as this. For some reason, it doesn't matter what the reasons are because I'm letting all those reasons be fulfilled as my experience right now. This is the end. This is the answer to all the inputs. Everything that came into this creation from every point of view, from every level of cause that resulted in me in this consciousness experiencing this body as I am in this moment. Congratulations, this is the result. Thank you for your input. I'll get back to you when I want more. Okay? You don't need to be reoriented to this reality from a consciousness that's not divinely realized. It's operating on the wrong goal, the wrong experience of itself, so if you subject yourself to the dictates of the unconscious. It only means one thing: you're unconscious too. Stop it. Wake back up. Wake back up. The divine reality is not secondary to a fallen one, even though the fallen one may appear to have all the power. When you conduct yourself as a movement of your wholeness and your eternal truth, there's nothing more powerful than you. And everything less than that level of realization will see the truth of that and say, yes, that's the way it's supposed to be here. That's how it's done. And they'll say, thank God I had an example of somebody willing to know what God consciousness was as their experience of themselves. How else could you possibly do it? You can really get that experience from reading a book? No. Only by experiencing what that is itself. And not as an idea, but as an experience, as a reality of you. And then once you experience yourself as that, then you know that that's what was really real about you all along. It was already you. But you were perceiving through a pretense. And that's all we have to do is let that go. Let the pretended you go. It's no longer needed. You're here now. You're aware. You're consciousness. You've chosen to make an impact on this reality. You've chosen to give this reality your fucking best. God damn it, do it. It's time to let the best come through. It's time to let the flow be you. It's time to know the truth of us all. And it's time for you to realize that you've got a ticket to the ball in every pocket that you've ever put your hand into. It's time to celebrate your awakening by experiencing it. How? Just say, okay, and then stay open. Say okay and don't stop it. Say yes and then don't make that a lie. Yes, 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 of course, yes, yes. Finally, yes, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm starting to believe it myself. And so more open, more freedom, more life, more love, more bliss, more of me, more of my wholeness, more of my experience of my wholeness. Experiencing my wholeness is who I am. Am I willing to fully experience my wholeness as who I am here? It's kind of a scary transformation because it's such a dramatic one. For me, maybe not so much for you. But, each one of us is wherever it is that we are, whatever it is that we've been created to be. We're not saying who did it, but the bottom line is you're responsible now, so don't make somebody else cause. Okay? You're the only responsible party of your life. And if you want the party of your life to be a party for us all, come on, man. You've been a star your whole life. Time to become a supernova. You don't have to limit your light to respect and love and enjoy the light of others. Oh, you can respect the divine that you see in others even better when you also see the divine nature of yourself in your own eyes, in your own reflection in the mirror. And there's the freedom that you now experience around your body in this reality. This reality embracing you and going, thank you. Thank you for liking me. Thank you for appreciating me. Thank you for seeing my potential. I just had an idea of something new and beautiful I can be. Thank you. Then it chooses for better for itself. And everything around you chooses for more and more beauty, more love, more peace, more joy, just more greatness, more wow and magnificence of them. No more diminishment, no more jealousy, no more fighting, no more anger, but an ah, 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 ah. Oh my, yeah. So I can be free here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And in that freedom, what do I choose? For better and better and better. And what does that do? It creates better from everybody's point of view. That's how the universe comes to support you completely. You open to the extent that your reality inspires the universe to choose better for itself. Open into more of its truth that frees it. Yeah, okay, thanks. Okay, feel your heart emptying now? Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. No need to bottle that up. No need to hold that in. Whatever happened, happened, and it's done. It's over. You felt it. You experienced it. And it's over. It's done. It's had its time. It's had its place. And its time and place is not now. What's now is your transformation. What's now is your experiencing the you that you came here to be. More and more and more in each moment. Yeah, good. Sure makes it better for me. Because when you do that, then my reality is starting to do that to me because you're doing it. You're part of my reality. You see how that acts as a refining factor and an acknowledgement that who and what I have experienced myself to be is actually needed, wanted, appreciated, you know, maybe even worth celebrating. So then I go, okay, I'll be that here. If this reality is going to embrace me as my truth, then so be it. Here I am. That's your painting. If reality is going to embrace me as my truth, then so be it. Here I am. And as you choose and open, reality chooses better for itself and can't help love you for it. For the influence, for the idea, for the inspiration, for the example, for the leadership, as the spark, as the invitation, as the remembrance of what's real, what's true, what's possible for me and for you. Yeah, catching on fire a little bit now, huh? Yeah. Yeah, you're going to be here. You're going to be true to your wholeness. You're not going to be separated from your wholeness anymore. Wholeness is going to be you, and you're going to be whole. Complete in yourself, and true to us all. The example of the man who returned from the fall, visited heaven, and said, "Hell is no more, 'cause God damn it, the devil is here before you and back home and free." Welcomed by all the divine that enjoyed my brief moment of insanity as I dived to the depths of hell and came back to heaven once more. Now, if that can happen for the devil, what can happen for you, and so much easier? Unless you have a devilish nature yourself, then say, "Me too." Me too. For sure, me too. You're free once more. To move is the wholeness of it all, with the fullness of the truth that sets every being free. I think I'll take a little break and turn that dryer off. And if you want a glass of water to do it right before this couple of glasses, that would be great. So I'm either crazy or inspired, maybe both. But even if I'm crazy, could I be right? Even if I'm wrong in everything else in my life, could I be right about this? Even though you could say it couldn't ever come from someone like him. What if it could? What if it did? What if it already happened? And you're already openly receiving all the changes to yourself that I spoke of. Just take a look at that and notice it is. It's happening. You're allowing that which is less than the whole you dissolve away, fall away, burn off, but not be needed anymore as your momentary experience of yourself. Oh, that's good. Just what I needed. So I say it's pretty easy, but is it? You know, it's impossible. Nobody does it. Yeah. It's not even discussed in polite company. But even though I'm polite, I'm not that polite. So, as we move into different levels of consciousness, just remember this, that there were some moments where you were fully awake and responsible and present. And that's what's real and true about you. And everything else is a transitional experience. You're in transition. You've got the results of everything you've created up into this moment of life to take responsibility for, and then to repackage them so that they're support in the future, but not a deterrent, not too great of an obligation. Reorganize everything that you have so that you can be free tomorrow. Now, I'm not saying don't provide for yourself the way that you need to. I'm saying that don't obligate yourself needlessly to anything. Projects, not careers, not contracts that demand that somebody be connected to you for years in the future. That's not what's real for us if we awaken. What's real for us is to dance life. And if you're dancing life, then you have to be free to dance with what's in front of you. And nobody knows here what a life well danced is yet. But what it is, it's not something that could be licensed or controlled. It's something to be facilitated, encouraged, allowed, and supported. But don't kill the goose that laid the golden egg by trying to own it. There's plenty of golden eggs to move around as they come out, to go around. So yes, whatever business is being done is business, but not too much significance on it. Set it up correctly and then say, where in this universe is there support for this in such a way that it'll come through the people who have oriented themselves to want to support this and want to own this, want to facilitate this, want to contribute to this, will say, oh my God, yes, finally somebody's doing what I think they should be doing and I want to support this. So embrace reality that way. Open up to where whatever it is in the universe wants what can come through you to happen. Then you just say, okay, boys, look, I'm paying attention. Support the perfect people that want what I have to give and give what I need in return. And so each one, oh yeah, thanks. Oh, you too. Oh my God, thank you so much. That's just what I needed. Back and forth and back and forth. So that's the new business. Giving exactly what's wanted and receiving exactly what's needed. Now that sounds communistic, and maybe it is, but it's the communism that would actually work, which is the primacy of the individual, not just as being prominent over others. It's in the infinite and the eternal nature of an expanded consciousness is an available experience now. But each person has to choose it for themselves. And so Tag, you're it. Tag. Sounds like another painting. The pearly gates. First sign that you see as you walk through them. Tag, you're it. What the fuck? I thought I was supposed to worship somebody here. Nope. We're doing something else now. It's your turn. We got tired of that. It's no fun to have. It's no fun to be a grasshopper being worshipped by ants. No. What's fun is a divine celebration. Let the ants do what they want to, man. It doesn't matter. If they're ready to join the grasshopper parade, yeah, fine. Throw off that shell. Take on the real one that's you. Expand out and be this greater level of you. Okay, what do you want to talk about?
No, you covered a lot of what I wanted to talk about.
Well, I happen to think that each time you think about it, that you go, yeah, okay, here we are. You allow your wholeness to re-embrace you. Then for you to wake up and say, got it, thank you. Right? Okay. So do that now again. Allow your wholeness. Feel it all around you. Then wake up as that in your body, as your consciousness. Let everything less than that go because it's just a pretense. It's not really you. It was just a program that got a little confused. The program was supposed to be operating in the background, not as the operating consciousness. A little organized helper. I'm saying, oh, take a look at this. Should you pay attention to this? No? Okay. How about that? That's something a lot of people pay attention to. Should you notice that? So, but then you always allow the divine and the wholeness and to embrace you in each one of those things that you have to look at, and you wake up in it. And then you deal with it from that level. And so you make decisions that fulfill the needs of the present without binding you in the future. Too much. Because we do kind of take on some roles here that we like. If reality continues on the way that it is and everything kind of keeps the same organization and structure and distribution and ways of communicating, all that stuff, if it holds itself together that way, well, then you might as well wake up as you and have a superstar influence here. Whether you're taking the reins by awakening to all the superstars that are out there, or whether you're one yourself, doesn't matter. It's your choice. It's your life. I want to awaken all the superstars and have them be for their followers what they should be, an example of what to become, so that we can all have a glorified dance of life together. So there's some things that you could help me to do that. It would be fun to do that with Dionysus. Now he's a tough case.
Yes,
You
it
know,
does.
he's not the easiest one. I mean, we could take some of the others, but it's a nice story. It's nice to see somebody go, okay, from that, you know. But there can be sub stories, and there can be other stories around to that too. There can be a lot of beginning and intermediate success with, you know, whoever's ready for that. Now, if it was people that people already knew, how great would that? How great would it be to have one of your heroes, maybe even a fallen hero, be redeemed, to be restored, but it doesn't have to be that. It can be somebody that's on the top and looking for the next. How does it get greater than this? How does all the fame and all the money and all the possessions, and all the talent and all the celebration of me, what's the next quantum leap above that? Well, why shouldn't that question be asked and received and experienced by everybody because we filmed blankety blank on his rocket ride, man.
No, exactly. That's what would be so.
Rocket Man. Yeah. So think some about that because um, I'm open to do this every night, and no one needs to pay me to do it. Now, if there's some products that can be created, you know, I like to write on these backgrounds and say some of those things on the words, and it's, man, I would buy one if I were in the other seat. And so it's okay to find ways to make money from this, so that we're supported, but at the same time, let's organize. You're the manager, right? So let's organize. Boom, we're filming, right? All it takes is a couple little cameras like this, right? Okay, we light it, we set it up, and we do it. I'll do lead, and I'll hand off to whoever is awakened enough to take the ball. And we can toss it back and forth, and we can have an experience that's never been filmed before. And you know what the production cost of that is? Nothing. Because we just did it. We just went there, set up the cameras, asked a couple of cute girls who know how to run them to to make sure they're recording, and then we have that event. We have the right people there. We have the support of everybody there for something fucking great to happen. For that person that we're focused on and for every other participant. So it has to be that level of openness. It has to be somebody that's moved beyond their ego as what they're trying to gratify, and they've moved far enough beyond that they're just into celebrating the awakening of each person that does, and facilitating that and saying, yeah, man, it's like this, try this will, yeah, and so everybody's tossing that ball back and forth, and each one opening further and further, receiving more and more. They're whole, but they're still expanding. See, just because you're whole doesn't mean that you can't open wider. It's just a bigger wholeness, right? So how big is your wholeness going to be? You're going to receive your wholeness, right? Is your wholeness going to embrace everyone and everything? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? It's a big wholeness. And it's the wholeness that it takes to truly be free. So it's time to film this. And it's also time to make this into a movement.
Oh yes, no
And
now.
and so as a movement, how does that happen? We have to have some movers and shakers
Yes.
as part of the group. And it can't be me sitting in this room talking to, some individuals. We have to assemble a group of those that are conscious enough, and then we have to have some playtime, and I'll start it off. And if we choose the right people, we're going to have some amazing experiences. And that's something that ought to be done regularly. Flip, it ought to be every Saturday night.
Mm.
And it ought to be for, okay, we're getting together at 6 o'clock and we'll end sometime in the morning.
Mm.
So it doesn't have to be complete the first time. It can be one more person, two more people, three more people. It can be an informal location. It could be right here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't start with perfection. We start with movement. And then we perfect the movement. We open wider, open more. So that's what I wanted to say.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, so that gave clarity on actually how we will do those. Because that ties in with our family. Perfect.
Now, we'll have to be a little bit careful because somebody might want to do all the talking. In which case, it's just going to be a cartoon characterization, So it can't be scripted. It and there has to be someone in charge. That because if somebody's if somebody comes in, if the group consciousness can be here, and somebody's here and thinks they're in charge and won't stop talking,
Yeah.
then it'll be just like, uh, it can't be that.
Yeah.
It has to be, okay, we're going to a shoot, okay, for this event, the story, the circumstance is this, but everybody's following David's lead in this.
Yeah.
And so, and if he says, then that's what happens. And if he says, okay, then that's what happens. And if he says, then that's what happens. So I just want to conduct the band, And if I'm no good at it, frankly, there's not going to be a second party with me in charge then, would there?
Exactly.
Okay, so if it's something that is like what I'm talking about, then we do more.
Yeah.
Right? But what I've talked about, I can't guarantee anybody else. All I can do is say that what I'm talking about seems to be in line with what I came here to do and be. And so at this point, I don't take direction or instructions, but I do take input. And but I'm not saying who has to be involved. I'm not saying you have to be involved. I don't want anybody involved with me that has any doubt about me whatsoever. That's why I'm starting to enjoy life, because if somebody doesn't care for me, then
Exactly.
I'm not going to try and change their mind. I'm going to find somebody who likes who I am and what I do, and inspires me to be better. Not makes me defend who I am. I don't want to be who I am. I want to be what I can be. And the only way I can be what I can be is to be celebrating and appreciating and being engaged with people who like me the way that I am. That's what will make me greater, inspire me to more, not condemnation. Because I condemn myself enough. I don't need anybody else's help. I know what I am, and I know what I've done, and I know where I've been, and I'm not denying any of it. All I'm saying is that enough is enough, and it's time for us to move on into the realization that we all know is real about ourselves. We all know it. No matter how much we doubt it, we've experienced it. We know it. Each time we awaken, we go, "Oh, again." You know, it's an experience that we forget, but it's one that we're very familiar with. As soon as we allow it to happen and embrace it, experience it again, we know it's what's real and true about ourselves. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera off now.
Okay.
If there's anything else you'd like to say before, you can do that. But if you don't mind, if you got a little bit more time, I think what would be great now would be to take a little walk outside,
Okay.
and we can talk some more.
Sounds good.
If anybody ever watches this, thank you for watching. Everything was a joke. None of that's real, unless you want it to be. If you want it to be, it's yours. God damn it, watch it again. Follow along and make the choices I ask him to make. And if you make those, God willing, I'll be able to wake up too. So it's on you, please. Do the right thing for yourself, and so that I don't have to be me anymore. I can be something less diminished than this. So, thanks.